Good morning to all. Excellencies, Chairpersons, President, Chief Election Commissioners, members and other distinguished delegates from fellow election management body across the world. Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners and other diplomats from various countries. Representatives from Association of World Election Bodies, International Foundation of Electoral Systems, International IDEA, and Malaysian Commonwealth Studies Center. My fellow commissioners, Mr. Rajiv Kumar ji and Mr. Anup Chandra Pandey ji, Ambassador Uzbekistan, Mr. Umesh Sinha, Secretary General and Senior Advisor and Head India ABEF Center, and other colleagues from Election Commission of India, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I extend a very warm and cordial welcome to each one of you to this international webinar on a very important topic, that is enhancing electoral participation of women, persons with disabilities, and senior citizens, sharing best practices and new initiatives. As you all know, that it has been 2 years since India took over as chair of this august body, ABEV, the largest conglomerate of election management bodies and electoral experts across the world. Since then, we have undertaken several new initiatives in order to provide a platform for active cooperation and interaction through webinars, training programs, and international election visitors programs. We have also brought out several publications to further deepen and strengthen this friendship between our countries. This webinar, being organized on the occasion of 2 years of India assuming the chair of ABEV, hopes to fulfill the mandate of this organization in letter and spirit. Today, India is also celebrating Constitution Day or Samvidhan Divas. This date commemorates for adoption of the Constitution of India. On 26 November 1949, the Constituent Assembly adopted the Constitution, which came into force on 26 January 1950. People of India are the ultimate custodians of the Constitution. It is in the people that sovereignty bests. Our Constitution is also a living document as it incorporates the aspirations of its people. Each one of us as citizens embody the Constitution and all the rights and duties that come with it. Democracy and democratic institutions flourish when all groups of people are fully represented. That is the topic for the day. Every EMB across the world, whatever be its legal systems or electoral procedures, tries its best to involve all citizens in voting, as this determines the credibility of the elections and makes it more meaningful. In democracy, every vote counts, every vote matters. Inclusion is the soul of democratic elections. Enhancing participation of all sections of voters, especially vulnerable ones, is the key to free, fair, and transparent, accessible elections. Women, PWDs, senior citizens do face barriers in exercise of their franchise. It is we, the EMBs, will have to develop strategies to remove such barriers and enhance their participation. Before we go into the efforts made by EMBs to enhance participation of all groups that were hitherto marginalized or faced certain barriers to full participation, a quick look at how this evolved, the historical fault lines, the complexities, contradictions, and overall the struggle that went into it would make it more perspective, more nuanced, and balanced. Many of us would know that women's suffragette movement has had a long history of struggle. Till the time the law wrote unambiguously in quote, shall not be denied, that is 19th Amendment USA. In most countries and territories, voting rights were granted to women in piecemeal. The USA took 144 years to give equal voting rights to women. In 2018, UK celebrated a centenary of achievement of votes for women, but it was on unequal terms. Initially, all men over 21 got the vote, but women had to be above 30 and own property. Electoral equality only came in 1928. Greece got it in 1952 and Switzerland in 1971. But in India, women got the right to vote the year our country was born. For a new post-colonial nation, this step of adult franchise to all was most extraordinary and revolutionary. This does not obviate the fact that many Indian women campaigned for equal rights to vote. The Indian suffragette movement gathered momentum with the participation of more and more women in the freedom struggle. The real logistics challenges came up in preparation of first electoral rolls in 1951-52 in India, when the first elections were held, when a large number of women, owing to customary practices, refused to disclose their own names and wanted to be registered as A's wife or B's mother. ECI had to issue instructions that name is an essential part of the identity and women voters must be registered in their own name. Besides, public appeal were also issued and the extension of 1 month was given for enabling all women voters to register, and election officials had to work very hard for motivating them to register themselves in the electoral rolls. In the first general election in this country, ECI undertook several special measures to facilitate women voters. To make women voters comfortable, at least one woman was appointed as polling staff at each polling station. Wherever it was felt that the women voters would find it difficult to appear at polling booths, as in the case of Parda Nashin or women who wear veils, separate women's booths were set up. And in the first elections, 27,527 such booths were reserved for women, which had all women polling officers. It is a remarkable distance that we have covered since then. Today, 7 decades and 17 general elections since independence, women's participation in India has exceeded that of men and stood at more than 67% in 2019 general elections. This was the first general election in which the participation of women was more than the men. India's population as per census 2011 was 1,200 million, of which 623 million were men and 588 million were women. During 2019 elections, we had a total of 911 million electors, of which 473 million were men and 438 million were women electors. The number of electors has since gone up to 934 million as on January 1st, 2021, of which men are 483 million and women are 451 million. Gender gap in every country is a matter of concern in voter turnout, which is a crucial parameter, which was minus 16.71% in 1962, was not only closed but reversed to plus 0.17% in 2019. India has witnessed 235.72% increase in female voters since 1971 election. But this did not happen overnight. A lot of work had to be done. And how these women were put into the electoral rolls and how were they motivated to cast their vote was a big challenge. There are only 2 crucial points. First, that all women should be registered. And second, that they should be able to vote freely. Registration needs some paperwork, either a national identity card or a proof of residence, and many women lack these documents. ECI undertakes a house-to-house visit of booth-level officers who ensures that all eligible citizens get their names on the electoral roll. Women in India moved into their husband's house after marriage and also changed their surnames. We have made it very easy to make desired changes in the particulars. Similarly, inclusion of names has been simplified through online facility over the NVSP portal. Friends, India has over 1 million polling booths in the country. For each booth, we appoint a booth-level officer who acts as a bridge of communication with the voters. More than 50% of the booth level officers are women. These women officers, who are also teachers or health workers or workers in child care centers, as we call them, are able to talk to the women folk in their own language. Because in India, there's a lot of diversity of languages. So we want to talk the women folks and the voters in their own language, and therefore the booth level officers go house to house, communicate with them, registers them in the electoral roll, and motivate them for casting their votes. They convince them to participate in elections, help them in the paper formalities, and offer them a very conducive environment for participation. Women participate in Indian elections not only as voters and candidates, but also as election administrators, polling officials, and security personnel. They do outstanding work in the stressful atmosphere of elections. The very presence of these confident women carrying out their tasks, setting up polling stations, carrying EVM boxes, diligently filling up records, sends a message across to all other women out there. In fact, many of our senior officers, including the heads of election machinery in the states, COs, DOs, and ROs are women officers. We set up some all-women managed polling booths, at least one per constituency, and most possibly in various rural areas and the various hamlets. These booths have all-women staff, including security staff. This initiative has become a visible example of women empowerment, especially in rural areas where the social and cultural influences and particularly tends to influence independent decision-making by women. Therefore, equally a continued focus on improving the polling station in terms of its location, close to hamlets, and habitation for easier access, provision of assured minimum facilities like drinking water, crèche facility, separate toilets, and waiting area. So ultimately, the ECI does all its work to convince them, to the women folks, to enroll into the voter list and convince them to cast their votes. And that could be resulted in the last general election as the women's participation was more than the men. We also focus on the transgenders and taking a holistic view of the gender definition. ECI included a provision whereby transgenders had the option of registering as third gender in electoral rolls. Close to 40,000 persons choose to register themselves as third gender in 2019 elections. ECI has been equally committed towards increasing participations of persons with disabilities and senior citizens in elections. For a person with disability, there is a whole host of issues to grapple with: attitudinal, access to information, infrastructural barriers, and physical discomfort. For instance, if a wheelchair is provided but there is no volunteer to push it, or the ramp is provided but the inclination is too high, or the information material is not available in braille or in large letters, it is a veritable struggle to access the election services. Friends, I really believe that we need to see all our measures from their perspective in order to address such issues and concerns. Whenever a new technology is designed or a new service adopted by the EMBs, accessibility should be the part of design itself and not added on later as an afterthought. That would make for universal access, which will go a long way in bringing senior citizens and PWDs into the electoral ecosystems. ECI has made consistent efforts and has gone that extra mile to empower and facilitate the participation of senior citizens and persons with disabilities. Braille signage were introduced on electronic voting machines 16 years ago on a pilot basis in 2004 assembly elections of Andhra Pradesh, and in 2009 general elections were enforced in every constituency. It was 13 years ago that directions were issued to provide facilities for electors with disabilities like gentle ramps in buildings. We have been mapping PWDs with active involvement of stakeholders and civil society organizations. Until now, more than 7.7 million persons with disabilities voters have been mapped as we strive towards 100% mapping. Wherever Election Commission goes and wherever we talk to the election officials, we see to it that the persons with disabilities are duly registered in the electoral rolls. And for that, we seek data from the various departments wherever it is possible so that these persons can be enrolled and they can be encouraged to cast their votes. In a very recent elections held in Rajasthan elections, the persons who were enrolled as the PWD voters, the 90% of them casted their vote. It is a really example of a complete motivation by the election officials who could encourage, who could motivate the person with disabilities to cast their votes. Over the years, ECI has streamlined various initiatives like provision of wheelchair, volunteer assistance, braille epic card, free transport and to and from polling stations, priority voting, and provision of assured minimum facilities at the polling station. Technology has steadily worked to make elections more accessible. ECI's PWD app helped such voters to get enrolled and get access to special facilitation services. All polling stations are now situated on ground floor so that there should be no difficulty for senior citizens or persons with disability to access the polling station. As a measure of boosting the confidence of our PWD voters, ECI sets up several polling booths that are exclusively manned by persons with disabilities. There's another initiative which was taken that certain booths were set up which were totally manned by the person with disabilities. And that gave a confidence and empower them also and give courage to other persons that they are not less than anyone as far as the discharging of democratic duties are concerned. Conducting voting at an election booth is a complex and challenging work, and the accomplishment of one of the most difficult duties, election duty, by the PWDs marks a big triumph and deserves to inspire one and all. Every year on Election Voters' Day, which is celebrated on January 25th, ECI recognized the efforts made by innovative and aspiring people who have contributed in making elections free, fair, and inclusive. Since 2011, 14 persons from different walks of life have been conferred this award by the Honorable President of India for their contribution in making elections accessible. Counting our resolve that no voter to be left behind, last year in 2020, for the first time, ECI also introduced the concept of absentee voter and brought the polling station at the doorstep of the people who find it very difficult to go out to polling stations to vote. We made arrangements for postal ballot facility to all voters aged 80 plus, persons with disability, and those who are COVID affected and quarantined. Our election staff would go to the houses of the voters who opt for these facilities. We requested them to give their choice whether they would like to come to the polling stations or our ECI officials can go there and cast and get their vote casted. And many persons offered that they would like to come to booth, but many persons said that we will cast the vote from the home itself. Our election staff would go to the houses of voters who offer this facility, complete with voting compartment, EVM, VVPAT, polling agents, and video cameras. This system has now been implemented across 6 state assembly elections, which had a cumulative elector base of 73 million, and voting was carried out as per a stringent health protocol in these polling stations. Friends, today this webinar is an excellent opportunity for us to learn from the best practices and experiences of other EMBs and election experts, as well as who strive towards removal of all those barriers that tend to hinder the wholesome participation of women, persons with disabilities, and senior citizens. I look forward to hearing the experiences of our friends and delegates today and different EMBs. Once again, I thank you for joining us at this webinar today. Jai Hind, thank you.